Hello and greetings from Northumberland. It's Wednesday the 21st of April and it is a beautiful morning. And today we remember the Queen on her 95th birthday in this very difficult week for her after the funeral of Prince Philip. It will be for her, I'm sure, a very low-key affair with hopefully some family around her. But we remember her in this difficult time and pray for her as we do day by day in her many responsibilities as our monarch. I want to move on from that though and mention something else on the world stage. Yesterday, a jury in Minneapolis found a police officer, Derek Chauvin, guilty of the murder in the second degree of George Floyd. You will remember the terrible scenes last year when this man was found dead after police had used considerable force, including kneeling on his neck for nearly 10 minutes before he died in police custody. You'll also remember the demonstrations that broke out as a result of that, and the fear and anger that was unleashed not only in the United States but across the world. It's good that in these difficult circumstances justice has been done and seen to be done, but we need to remember that this happened not as a cause but as a symptom of the fact that still in our societies racism exists. Only this week, a panorama report highlighted elements and systems of racism in the Church of England. People who have been treated unfairly because of their race and have suffered at the hands of the Church as an institution. And it's important that we acknowledge that the Church itself is a symptom, reflects the society in which we live, when it should in fact stand out and over against the more negative aspects of our society. So I think the first thing we all need to do is to remember that it's easy to be racist and to be prejudiced. Because when people are different from us, and we may not understand always their differences, there is the danger that we can condemn, distrust, are suspicious of them. It's there, and sadly it's there in what seems to be our human nature. And particularly when we are not exposed personally to the humanity of people who are different, we can lapse into stereotypes and racism and sexism and all the other isms that are around. We have to remember that Jesus, who in all terms and definitions for our reckoning was probably a black man in the Middle East, also challenged these things in his society. His society was suspicious of Samaritans. His society was suspicious of Gentiles. His society thought that God was concerned with them and not with others. And Jesus challenged this. He challenged it over and over again. He challenged people to expand their understanding of the love of God for all people. And 2,000 years later, we are still having to come to grips with that challenge of seeing that every person is equal, every person is valued by God, every person is a child of God. We will not agree with everything that every person does, but those divisions are not about race or even creed or colour. They are about sometimes other things, and it's understandable that we will not want to accept racism and other attitudes in other people. But what we have to start with is remembering that every person is a child of God, and that we have to understand and value each other. Jesus came not to a small group of people, but for the good of the whole world. Jesus came not that we might be saved, but that all people might know his love and salvation. A couple of words from today's gospel. It is the will of him who sent me, that I should lose nothing of all that he has given me, but raise it up on the last day. It is indeed the will of my Father that all who see the Son and believe in him may have eternal life, and I will raise them up on the last day. Jesus makes the offer to everyone, regardless of our background, regardless of our race, regardless of our gender. His love is poured out for us all, and we do well to remember it on a day like today. May God bless us all.